this is ironic. I'm not really a big social media like content creator person, so I'm really excited I get to learn from someone who's doing it really just a grindy level right now. I'm not a big social media content creator, like video type person. I'm not good at this scripted intro for a conversation or interview that I've had with Josiah, but I'm really excited that he's sharing his perspective on content creation, on growing Roundnet through social media, and how, every single time you post out there and get Roundnet into the world, that's another step forward we can take. So, just having these conversations and sharing with the world is kind of how I'm trying to do it. My small step is just getting more conversations and getting more context and history about Roundnet out there. And for Josiah, it's his background and love for the sport channeled through these videos, teaching people, getting people excited, and talking about Roundnet more online and in person. So I hope you can learn a lot from him and his experiences. And I also hope that if you're passionate about Roundnet, like I am, like he is, and hopefully you are if you're watching this, that you can take something away and apply it to how you put your passion into Roundnet, not just for your own enjoyment, but also just for growing this thing we're loving and trying to build. So I hope you enjoy the chat. I'm really excited to welcome and chat with Josiah Sanders. In my opinion, one of the most just hardworking content creators out there. He's grinding on Instagram every single day. I think I'm not as online as he is, but just want to welcome one of the most online Roundnet players in the world, Josiah Sanders. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. It's been a very grindy summer. It's about to get grindier for me. I'm curious, like where are you coming from right now? You're driving. Are you going to and from pickup right now?
I am in my truck because it is the quietest place that I live in. So
Okay.
that is where I'm at. And yeah, that's my location currently for this interview or whatever this
Truck.
is.
Yeah. Very small budget. Little interview set up here.
Hey, this is the highest production thing I've been on, so you're good, man.
That's crazy. No, yeah. If you guys don't know Josiah, he's one of a lot of people who have been really pushing content forward, trying to just get more people, not only like fun highlights and stuff, but he's kind of got just like a mix of all these different like tutorials and also just, I don't know, I'd call them like just culture, like Roundnet culture pieces, just keeping up with the times of like fun memes and bits about like bad calls, good calls, funny moments, highlight plays. And it's a fun spot to step on. So if you are online, I would totally recommend giving him a follow. But yeah, I know we were going to talk about pretty much exactly that today. So how did we even get here? Like rewind, you go back to 0 followers. Why'd you start this Instagram account and maybe even further back? Like how'd you get into Roundnet at first?
I got into RoundNet in spring break of 2017. And it was just we all got together. We were gonna go to the park, and one buddy said, "Hey, I have this thing called spike ball set, and we should break it out and try it." And then we read the rules, and we played it for that entire spring break week, every single day, nonstop. Um, and we even and it was like at the park, we had a lake right there, and it was like this nasty lake. And we're like, all right, whoever loses has to jump into the lake in their underwear, just something crazy like that. Buy McDonald's for everybody. It just got to a point where we were just like started getting obsessed with it. And so that was like on and off. Like during the summer, we'd play like 2 or 3 times, and uh, that was about it. And it wasn't until uh, a few months in to think 20. It was summer of 2020, and that was when I moved down to Texas, and we'd been playing up in Washington, the Pacific Northwest, with all my buddies like Brooks Massey from the Pacific Northwest and Pat Clifford. I grew up with those two, and we played back then. And then when I moved to Texas, I started grinding, um, going to some of the Taser tournaments, and that was when Taser was like popping off. And so it was the first time I ever been to a
Yeah, like
tournament,
those
and it was like,
pandemic years, right?
yeah, that was pandemic years, and like it was like they just got done. I think it was Texas Nationals was the first one, so that was 2021, right after like it all got like we had to get our COVID vaccines and everything, the cards and all that. And so I got that whole thing. I'm like, all right, we're getting this. Let's go. And so I had my buddy Brooks fly down. We played in Texas Nationals, and uh, super fun. Started grinding some more, and then I actually met my wife down in Texas. Moved up to Washington again, played a little bit in the Pacific Northwest. And then winter came, and so once winter hits in Pacific Northwest, you're not doing anything. Um, and so got married after a year of being up there, moved back down to Texas in 2022, and then just started really hitting the paint and realized that like, hey, if I really like put my like thought process and my mental like just lock in on this, like I could be decent at this.
Yeah.
And so that's
What are
what
you
I did.
doing? Yeah. So what are you doing aside from all this Roundnet grinding? Like what's your day to day? Are you're working full time in some other field? And I know you've mentioned you kind of run your own thing.
Yeah, so I work full time at a city. I'm an irrigation technician, so I work
Mhm.
on sprinklers and pipes and everything. Blue collar boy. I have been since I started working. And so then like outside of Roundnet and doing that, I spend time with my wife, and we now have a baby that's due any day now.
Oh
And
God, you're in the
yeah,
go-go mode.
so
Yeah.
going
Is
on,
that-
yeah, exactly. But I mean, outside of that, like the day to day is just go to work, come home, hang out with my wife a little bit, and then go practice round neck, record a little bit, or go to pickup. So
yeah. I
pretty
know
cookie
I know.
cutter.
Well, you got a regimented schedule. You got the priorities set, like you said. You like I got the family, and I'm gonna go into this Roundnet thing. I'm curious
Yeah.
for you. There's a lot of different ways people can channel their passion in anything, and of course, Roundnet. There's lots of different ways to do it. What drew you specifically to getting into content and trying to focus on social media growth?
Um. Well, it was February. It was right after the first ASL tournament in Vegas,
Mhm.
where I saw maybe I saw Buddy posting. I saw Jacob Summers posting. Um, those were kind of like the main like two, and then Scott Beeks as well. I think he was starting to post around then as well. And I was just kind of thinking like, oh man, like it would be kind of fun to like start posting. And then that's when I started like progressing and like seeing like jumps in my game and started like seeing like, oh, now I have a cut serve. Oh, now I got a reverse. Oh, now I'm getting aces. Oh, now I'm playing against decent players. And so I was like, I mean, it pretty much started out as just like, I got nothing else to do, so why not just post some of this? And if it takes off, it takes off. You know, that's how it started at least.
Mhm.
I just wanted to post something, maybe to inspire like a newer player to like, hey, like this 5'4" just dwarf of a man can be decent at round net and learn how to do these things. Like, why can't I? You know, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, just trying to get more like visibility out there. That like any different
Yeah,
ability level, any frame can play this sport is a super fun thing. I'm
exactly.
super curious. What responses have you gotten from people in the community? Like now that you're creating so much, I know we've talked a little bit about trying to professionalize like content, things like that. You've got a
Hmm.
couple sponsors um, that like are supporting you in different ways. What does that expectation look like that you put on yourself and that maybe other people put on you as you've gone from not just being someone who's posting this for fun, seeing what's happening, but now you're foraying into this. I mean, really entrepreneurial, like more professional at least, whether it's
Hmm.
business or not. Like you're taking it more professionally, more seriously because you're taking on these obligations. Has that changed the joy for you? And otherwise, just what has that meant for how you approach it? Because it started out as just a fun thing, and I'm not saying it's not fun, but what other
Hmm.
layers have you added?
Um, as far as like my like joy and like fire for like posting and creating content, like when I started getting like people reaching out to me, or I reached out to them and like they actually like taking me on the team, uh, it kind of like ignited something in me to be like, all right, like it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of, there's not a stigma. I can't think of the word, but there's like this, thing within RoundNet and like content creators, just like, I'm going to get to this level and this is as far as I'm going to get as far
Maybe
as
like a
like content creation.
limiting belief is maybe like what the
Yeah, it's like
might be.
there's so many people that have this limiting thing of just like, well, I'm not going to push this because like I'm only going to get so far. Like I'm not going to start posting regularly because I can only get so far. Um, but like when I started getting like onto people's teams, I'm just like, oh, like this is possible. I'm by no means like making a crap ton of money or getting a salary, but like these organizations and these businesses reaching out shows that, oh, there is a possibility, you know? So it just
Yeah, what
fueled the fire in me. It's just like, all right, like let's push it. Let's see how far we can take it.
Yeah, I'm curious. What role do you think like content serves in? There's a lot of things that Roundnet needs to grow, but where do you see Roundnet content? And you can say specifically social content. I know that's like where you're really focused. How
Hmm.
do you see content fitting into the big scale of growing the sport?
Um, how do I see it going into it? Like
Yeah,
what would the process
why is
be?
it so important when you say there's room to push things forward and
Oh
there's
yeah.
value and you're saying like what to you in your view like what's that value importance that the work you're doing is serving? And this is not
Well,
like I don't believe in it personally. I just want to hear your
yeah,
perspective.
no, so at first my page turned into just like, let me just post and have fun with it. And then once I got to about, I think it was like 500 followers, I was like, all right, let's grow around that, you know, like let's do
Hmm.
this. And then I think that the shift happened when I was just like, oh, like let's grow around it. And the way that sponsors and like other businesses and companies outside of Roundnet, the effect that that would have like on just the sport in general is more eyes. And that's what everybody wants is more eyes on the sport because it's something that we love, you know?
Yeah,
Does that
absolutely.
answer your question? I feel like that didn't
Yeah,
really answer
totally.
the question. Okay.
Oh no, that's a big one. Is yeah, like if Roundnet's going to grow in the way it needs to, it definitely needs more eyes and yeah, like
Yeah.
content and social growth especially is one of the fastest ways to get more exposure, or even just awareness,
Yeah.
right? Like you want people. I think more and more, and this is on the backs of a lot of people's work like you. Is now when I see people out in the world and they see us playing pickup, they're not like, what is that? They're like, oh, I've seen that before
Yeah.
because they might have seen us playing pickup, the week before, but they probably saw it in their social feed at some point
Exactly.
because the
And I
world is
mean,
online.
like, imagine if, I mean, doing that, like being able to like be sponsored, even if it's like an affiliate program for now. Like that's
Mhm.
the answer that I've been getting from a lot of these businesses. Like for now, it's just an affiliate thing. It's like, oh, you mean like for now, like if I put in the work and I actually grind, like this can be like an actual like salary kind of thing. Like that's what it gives me. Like I'm a very optimistic person. Like if you give me an
Sure.
inch, I'm gonna take a mile.
Yeah.
That's how I got my smoking hot wife. She just said hi, and I said hi back, and then I just took it from there. No, I'm just kidding. But I was like that inch. I'm just like, oh, like let's see how far we can go with this. When someone gives me a maybe, I'm just like, all right, then let's get it going until it's a no. Um, and just that, like, imagine if one person posted and say like one of my sponsors like reposted that on their story and then like for some reason Twisted Tea, the marketing director for Twisted Tea saw that and they're like, oh crap, the sponsor that the entire community has been waiting for just saw this post and is like, yeah, I'm gonna like bring Twisted Tea
Yeah.
and around that together, like let's see it, you know?
Mhm. Yeah,
So it's
that'd be
like that
huge.
kind of like chance and that opportunity is like it's just like something that I just like get fired up about.
Yeah, I love that. I think we've spent some good time like talking about maybe more of the big picture kind of like scale of the content thing. I want to pivot really quickly into some more tactile things and maybe just try to provide some like advice to other people who are thinking about doing Roundnet content the way you're doing it. Maybe a different style. There's a lot of different creators that are doing different things, focusing on different things, but I think the fundamentals of creators anywhere are going to be pretty similar. So I would love to hear more about your workflow when it comes to how are you coming up with ideas? What's your schedule for producing things? Are you batching things? And I'd just love to talk through maybe if you could break it down, like what's a week in the life of Josiah Sanders Roundnet look like? Or sorry, Sanders underscore Roundnet is the handle.
Well, I'll usually just, I have like not really a structure. It's more of just like post every day and post what I like. That's really my structure. And like, there are some people like to the some that ask for advice, this is what I give to them. I say, if you post what you like, you'll never get burnt out, and you'll get a following of people that actually like your content. Because say I make a post, and I tried this once, like, and it didn't really work that well. I said, for every follow I get, I'm going to practice setting for 10 seconds. And it
Yeah.
didn't work. And the reason it didn't work is because not only did the community see an agenda, but also the new viewers see an agenda of like, dang, like, unless you're doing something absurd,
Well, if
like,
you're trying to become the best setter in the world, right? Like if you're like, I'm going to become the best setter
exactly,
in the world, I need some motivation. Like that would be maybe like a stronger through line. I do want to say, or
exactly.
two, I think something, maybe we can peel this back a little later, but just like the agenda setting, right? It's like,
Hmm.
oh, this guy's got an agenda. Like he wants people to follow him. And it's like,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, well, of course he does. Because if people follow him,
Yeah.
then more people are going to use some Roundnet stuff. So it
Yeah.
becomes interesting, like the layers of, yes, you're serving yourself, but also like you're not just serving yourself, and there needs to be
Yeah.
some duality in that. So um,
As far
I
as
just want
that, like the
to,
agenda
that's
side of
not all
things,
bad. It's not all
what's
bad to
that?
have an, it's good to have
No,
an agenda.
I don't
As
think
long as
it's bad
you're not
either.
working against somebody or against something, that's,
No,
I think,
I
fair game.
don't think it's bad. It just didn't work for me.
Sure, and I think
That's
it can
the
be
thing that
stigmatized,
happened.
I guess, in particular.
Hmm.
And I've definitely had experiences of that in Roundnet too, where it's like, oh, like, why are you doing this? And it's like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought this would be fun. But
Hmm.
if you don't like, for me, it was Flop Fridays. It still is Flop
Yeah,
Fridays
exactly.
a lot of the time. And yeah, I think we had our market cap. Like we got everybody that was interested in Flop Fridays to follow Do a Barrel Roll, and I don't know how many more people are like, yeah, I want that content. So
Yeah.
I get that. But yeah, on like the flow though, you said like you're posting something you like every day. You're posting what you like. Tell me about like, are you filming every day? Or are you filming every other day? Like what's the actual workflow to get this content done? Because it's one thing to post what you like, but going
Hmm.
further back in the pipeline, like where do these ideas come from, and what does it actually look like to get it produced or filmed?
Well, this is something that a lot of people like. A lot of people struggle with recording and everything because they don't know what to record. They don't know what to do. And like I said before, I'm posting things that I like, and I'm also making sure that I'm posting something that's new and original. Sometimes I won't do that. Sometimes I'll post a tripod challenge that's been done for like a couple of years. Sometimes I'll post like a quick like tutorial or tip guide that's been posted before. Um, but as far as like how the whole process works for me is I I pretty much did like recorded myself so much to the point where like I'm able to, cause like there'd be times where I'd go to a pickup and only be able to like make like one reel. And that's because I was just like, man, like here's 10 clips in one reel. Like this is my reel. Whereas
Yeah,
like now I'm like, now take those 10 clips and make those each their own reel. You now have 10 posts. So
sure,
like for me, if I go to the park and I'm recording myself, and I'll go to the park and practice like by myself, and then I'll go to the park and record like for with the intention of like making reels. I'll go to the park and I'll be able to make 10 reels within 2 hours. And that's just like off the top of the dome. Like what would I have wanted as far as like an advice, like a tip video, either when I started, like either when I was like not like low contender, when I was mid contender, when I was high contender, like, and then even like maybe something that premier players don't think about, I'm gonna at least voice it and just like see if like it gets some traction. Like if people like it, then I'm just gonna post more about it. Um, and then even if people didn't like it, I'd still post about it because there's that one person that needs those tip videos. So I'm able to go out and get like, just because I know how to record and I go with like a mindset of just like, all right, this is what I want. This is what,
mm,
do a hitting video, setting video, serving video, mentality video, so on and so forth. And then with pickup, I kind of laid it out in the beginning of this explanation of just like, instead of going to pickup and recording all those games and making like a like minute 30, there's like 20 clips in there of like serves, rallies, lowlights, highlights. Now I just cut all that down and maybe put like two or three in a reel. Like if I want a long reel, which is like every once in a while, I'll put two or three max,
Okay.
three at the max, and then I'll take all those other clips and make it one reel. That one clip is one reel. Um, and so now you've taken one post and turned it into 12 posts, and now you have like almost 2 weeks worth of content, and you don't even have to go outside and touch a ball.
Yeah, you can go focus on editing. So that
Yeah.
focus on like batching your filming, batching your video content. I feel like for some players it's maybe more just they batch their content at tournaments. They film their tournament
Mm-hmm.
highlights and then they have a lot of reels from the tournaments for a little while. For you, it's
Exactly.
maybe a little more focused on other things and as well.
I'm not able
I'm
to go to tournaments either. That's why I learned
Yeah,
so
I'd love
fast on how to go
that's
to
fair.
pickups and record
I'd
stuff.
love to hear more about that. What's been the for you is just like the logistics of getting to tournaments from obviously Texas is a very big place and it's hard to travel
Yeah,
too far out of Texas without dropping all your budget on it. So it's just that
exactly.
the reality is you may as well just play and stay local and that's how you're getting the most out of Roundnet right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like if I could, I would be going every weekend. Just like any
You go
other
sort
Roundnet
of
player.
somewhere.
I would
Oh,
go
only
every.
like only few people are doing that kind of thing. It's an expensive hobby
I know.
to
I don't
fly.
know how these people pay for it. Like, if you're out there and you're able to go to every weekend, like, please drop your strategy. Like, I would love to
Yeah,
know. If I need to
I
go
will
to
say.
college and get some money, like, let me know and get a good job.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, like, there's good paying blue collar and white collar jobs. I know you mentioned like
Yeah.
the like everyone's on their own like their path with their different trades and skills, but I think the big one is just I can speak from my experience when I got my first job that was like hey you can afford to have nice things. I was like I'm just gonna I just set up my budget. Like it's like this is the quick version. I set up my budget. I was like, this is what rent is. This is what food is. This is insurance. All the necessities. This is my retirement, my savings, and all things that you should be focused on as well financially. This is not financial advice. I don't know how we got here. Um, then I was like, hey, I want to like set aside like a couple $1,000s out of my budget for the year and just like I'll track flights really diligently and just lock in
Hmm.
these weekends. I think there's lots of hacks on top of that from travel hacking and obviously instead of like getting into like an Airbnb and hotel if you've got a
Exactly.
friend in the city and you can stay on a couch there's levels to it but I think the
Yeah.
big thing is just the same way that anybody's got their priorities for their family and their friends and their round net in their life budgeting and making sure you like have those things put together is only going to
Yeah.
do good things
It's
versus I
not
think
easy.
a lot of players like look at a tournament like oh like the flight got too expensive and it's like of course it got too expensive
Exactly.
you gotta book it you gotta plan to book it and you gotta track it and
Yeah.
hit the you gotta buy low fly high.
Yeah. It's not that much easier with a wife either.
Oh I'm sure all the things make around a travel a little
Yep.
harder so that's totally understandable
No, yeah.
that's fair and that's great that you're making the most of it there uh
Yep.
I wanted to I think sit a little bit on at least for a bit here on um just like what you like charge other people to do that are maybe listening to this conversation what call to action would you give to someone who's thinking about this content thinking about growing the sport what would you want to get out there for everybody
I mean, to the listener that is sitting or the watcher that's sitting here, like, kind of on the fence of whether they should, like, post that story, or, like, even make the Roundnet account that's specifically for the hobby that you love, like, do it. Because not only is it beneficial to you because you're learning how to be confident and you're learning how to talk in front of a camera and you're learning how to edit, um, you're also benefiting the entire Roundnet community in general, in the sport in general. Um, I am a huge advocate of just like, even if you like, we don't want to throw poop on a wall and hope it sticks, but like, even if you don't really have anything to post, like post something Roundnet related of some sort, because all eyes that we can possibly get need to be on Roundnet, because there's a lot of people that are sitting here wondering why Roundnet is not the level that they want, and that is, and they point fingers at organizations and they point fingers at manufacturers and they point fingers at content creators, just like, why can't you guys put more money into the sport? Why can't you guys do this? Well, posting about the sport is the number one way and the number one thing you can do in order to grow the sport, is posting about it and showing it to everybody. And if you need to think of it like this, social media is a lottery, and each post is a free lottery ticket. No matter how many times you look at that, that is a free lottery ticket because there are so many people that literally sit there with a camera and like twiddle their eyebrows and they get like millions of views on TikTok and now they're famous and getting brand deals and everything like that. Like there's a chance that you can post the craziest play you've ever had in your life and it just blows up and now we have thousands of dollars in Roundnet. Like that's the lottery. And no matter how many times you sit there and you second guess it, like think of it that way. That's how I think about it. I'm just like, man, like Roundnet has the potential to blow up all because of one post. Like why not just take that chance?
Dang, you got me trying to get back into social media. I so avert to it, but that's a great way of thinking about it. Is like someone's gonna win the lottery. Why
hmm
not Roundnet, and why not, again, not even necessarily why not you, right? Like
Yeah,
there's lots of, like if you're playing somewhere, there's lots of clubs and groups where you can be like, hey, can someone post this for me? I don't have an, if you don't have to make an account, right? Like you could get past the content.
exactly.
The content
I mean,
aggregation
shoot,
is a tricky thing.
cop,
But yeah,
copy my stuff at least. Like, I don't care. Like, there's like, I'm telling you, like, if you want something to post, make a post just like mine. I won't care. I'll be a little bit butthurt and I'll just tell you like, hey, like, just be a little bit more creative. Like, if you're gonna copy the homework, just change it just a little bit. But like, if we want to grow around that, it's a team effort. So I'm just like, shoot, go for it. Like, use this. I don't care. If you have a tip to share, use the tip. Like, share the tip. Like, I don't care.
yeah, having that collective mindset on growing around it is, I think, super important. And I might disagree with you a little bit that it's like the number one best way to grow the sport. I'm personally a big fan of like getting someone in person, but I'm just such an
Yeah.
analog guy, so I could be wrong. But I will agree. I will at least grant that posting about Roundnet or talking about Roundnet wherever
hmm
space you're in and sharing it, that's definitely the easiest thing to do. Even if it's not like the most
Yeah.
like pound for pound effective, it is definitely the easiest thing to do. Is just say like, hey, like, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I went to a Roundnet tournament. It was pretty fun. I like flew across the country, spent all my money, but I had a great time.
Yep.
And then people are like, wow, that's interesting. You spent all your money on this. Like, yeah, a really fun time doing it. Got to get more people out there and into it because
Exactly.
yeah, I think one thing that's really weird when we talk about like this, like getting money into the sport is like, where's the money going to come from? Like it's
hmm
going to come from more consumers and more advertisers wanting to advertise to more consumers that are focused on Round. It's not going to magically fall from the sky. It's not going to magically come from like you or me or from like a company or a manufacturer. It's
Yeah.
gonna come from like real life people. So the
Yeah.
more real life people know about Roundnet, the more real life people have a chance to care about the sport and spend on it. There's a lot of
Exactly.
there's a lot of ways to spend on it, and hopefully there's more and more ways to spend on it in the future. But um,
Well, I think because a lot of
yeah,
people view, because Roundnet's a sport, and a lot of people like want to go professional, be a professional athlete, and like go legitimately professional in Roundnet. And I look at it this way as like Nintendo's not going to pay me to play Super Mario Bros. The way I get paid playing Super Mario Bros. Is streaming and posting about Super Mario Bros. At least right now, you know, that's just kind of the way you have to think about it. Is like Nintendo's not going to pay
but
me
yes,
to,
for the Smash community in particular, if people don't know about like, are you like thinking like
yeah.
Super Smash Bros, right? It's like, yeah, Super
Hey,
Smash
I'm
Bros.
a Smash Bros. Player too, dude.
You're
Come
not
on,
right?
it's the
Okay.
exact
I'm,
same thing
I mean, I'm pretty trash. So if anybody else is in like the Roundnet community that plays Smash, like, please don't come for me. I like main Yoshi a bit, but but yeah, like
Oh, we can't be friends no
uh,
more if you win Yoshi.
it's a
That's
bit,
tough.
it's a good bit. But okay, we'll have to put a pin in this. But like the
Yeah.
idea that for Nintendo being such a big company, and obviously like Spikeball is the biggest company within Roundnet. Like Spikeball
hmm
doesn't have the same money that Nintendo has, but the concept that
Yeah.
Nintendo isn't building the esports community. They're just making the games, the products. Like
Yeah.
the Roundnet community, need to build the sport and grow the sport. And the more sport we
Yeah.
get from Spikeball, great, or any other like provider manufacturer, also great. But like it does just fall to us to do the work, which is,
It
again,
does.
like easier said than done.
Yeah.
But like, whether it's playing, and I know we're mostly in the content space, but yeah, if there's one more person to do one more task in their local community, it makes Roundup tick that much better. That I've
Yeah.
seen like and quite a bit. I think for Taser, I think as well, like it's been on the backs of just a couple of people, and over time, I think there's been a desire to have more people in Texas also push the
Yeah.
sport forward and have it be spread across people that aren't all busy having kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just look forward to like what's gonna happen because I just again it's just like once people catch that idea of just like, oh dang, like this like there's a possibility that the sport of Roundnet can change if I start posting. And that's like the mentality that I have as well. Just like there is a chance that like we do get that like $1 million sponsor within the sport. Like it doesn't even have to be a collab with Spikeball. It could be a collab with Premier Spike. It could be a collab with uh what's it? Bam Ball, Wham Ball. Like it could be that, or it could be like like a collaboration with a LRO, like a local organization, or USA Roundnet. Like there's always an opportunity, and it's like an advertising a business. Like the more and more you get in front of people, the more and more they're like, oh dang, what's that?
Yeah, it's a great way of putting it.
And so that's
I
why I post every day as well. Like
yeah,
I'm like if I if I truly want like the sport to grow and like my page growing like is like a not even something I'm thinking about. And if I do think about it, it's just like, okay, how many new people am I getting and how can I like hit
yeah,
those new people and get them into Roundnet? Um, but like just like growing in general is so possible if you just post every day. I mean, that's really like that's a high call to action is posting every day because a lot of people don't have the time. And, but I will say that if you're in college and all you do is just go to school and play RoundNet, you have time to post and edit. Like, and this is not tooting my own horn. This is not saying, look at me, but like full-time job. And Ben's the same way, like full-time job. Like we got things outside of RoundNet in general that are going on nonstop and we're able to post and we're able to do the thing. So just do it. Like you got this. You can do it. Like, especially if you're in college, like brother, if I was in college
yeah,
right now, and I could just go to school and play around there. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I would kill for that. I just don't have the money to do it. So I'm just like, and I don't want to go into debt either. So I'm just like, shoot, I'm just stuck here. But if you're in college and you're able to play with like, I mean, shoot, I could go on and on about this. Like, it's just like, man, if I was able to play with Owen Lippman and Wes Peterson and like all the other Clemson players down there and just like the amount of like knowledge that you can get from them and like at, as far as like sharing like what you've learned, like you can share so much, gain so much from like you could gain so much for the community in doing that, you know?
yeah. I think um, there's maybe almost like too much green space right now, which might be like part of the things that like you and I are like part of contributing to is just like trying to build this world of Rounded where people are like, I don't really get it. Like, how do I fit in, or am I allowed to
Mm-hmm.
do that? I I think I've said this in other like sentences before, but just like you don't need anyone's permission to start doing this. I think I've struggled with that myself
Yeah.
too. Just like, can I like make a Rounded account? Am I allowed to like be posting these like silly clips, or can I post these like serious clips? Um,
Mm-hmm.
like like back to what Josiah said, just like if you like it, like do it. Like just if you like Roundnet, you want to express your creativity, your passion for it in some way. Like there's no wrong answers. It's there's a lot of good ways to do it. So just give it a try, and if you don't like it, you can just switch, just start doing something else. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people, you mentioned like you had that like one like foray into doing like a setting challenge and didn't go exactly how you wanted to, but you learned from it. You like you tried something you know didn't fit for you, and now you're doing things that you're more aligned with. And yeah,
Yeah.
having that alignment in Rounded is really good. Just making sure you got that long term sustainability is a really the critical thing to have as an ingredient.
Yeah. And like I don't know if you've experienced this the same, like if you've also experienced this, but and I kind of want to hear your like thoughts about this. Is
Sure.
just like, have you like for me personally, my as far as like the reach of my content, like again, like we're trying to reach as much people as we possibly can for the sport. Like as far as my reach went though, like I was trying to make content that like a top player would appreciate, you know? Like I wanted like Will Pacone to like my videos. I wanted like Rahul to like my videos and comment on my videos, you know? Like I wanted like, man, it'd be so cool if those guys like commented on my videos. Like that'd be so cool. And then there's a point where I'm just like, okay, I'm definitely making content for the wrong reason in doing that. And it's not that making content for those like top players are bad, but I just realized that like, all right, is my goal to get like credibility, if not like attention from these top players, or is my goal to like grow Roundnet? Like, have you ever been in that mindset before? Like, I had to make that switch.
Yeah, I think like for me more generally, and I'll say like again, like those are two totally valid things, right? You realize you didn't really want to like impress high level players, but
Mm-hmm.
for for me, like I wear a lot of different hats, and generally what that means is like I'm like doing different things for different people, and
Yeah.
everyone needs something a little different, right? Like some players like really need a lot of like coaching attention. Some players uh really need like more structure in their clubs.
Yeah.
Some players are like really excited and wanting for the sport to feel more professional, but um like we're missing a lot of pieces, and maybe we're missing more of like the professionalism and actual like way that people carry themselves to make that work. So yeah, I often ask myself like what's my audience? I think is a good way of thinking about it. Like what's my target audience? Um, and I do struggle with it because I think in particular for like USA Roundnet, that's such a weird one because that's about like the people that are playing Roundnet right now, but also the people who are playing Roundnet tomorrow and the next day after that. So it's trying to figure out like how do we build a structure that the people that are playing right now want to get like aligned and like excited about, because it's going to take everybody in the US for that project. And it's not a project, it's like a whole nonprofit organization. But like it's that tug and pull of like I don't want to also like ignore people's like sentiments and perspectives, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like that kind of thing compared to some other smaller projects that are more focused in like local communities and things, don't have as like wide reaching of a scope. Like I think that's the big challenge with US around it. Shares a lot of problems that like the global and like international community have, is just that um, there's a lot of voices, a lot of ideas. But I think like the most important idea that we all have to get on the same page on is that we want to like grow this thing together. Pretty much what you were pointing at, and like just getting content out there and growing Roundnet. Um, so yeah, I struggle with that big time. And I think like for TDs as well, the other big thing that has been a point of struggle over the years is just like you talk about wanting to impress top players. I think one really good proxy for that is like what the prize money is for a tournament. So like prize money at a tournament is pretty much just serving 6 to 10 people.
Yeah.
And that example of like, does that grow around it, or does that just impress like a couple people, or does the idea of it like impress people who aren't going to touch prize money, is also a really interesting conversation. And for me, grappling with my different experiences as someone who has played for like the prize money and also given away the prize money, that's a super interesting thing to figure out. Like I don't have the resources to like analyze like what's perfect for Roundnet, so I always try to find the middle grounds of like let's split the difference on all these different priorities and try to make everybody at least a little happy. But I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm not going to make everyone happy, because I'm not even going to make myself happy sometimes. So I just try to worry about
Yeah.
making myself content. And I think the big one is like knowing I can't control the outcomes of things, but I can control the inputs. The
Yeah.
same way that you can put the work in the content and make people, if people receive it well, great. And if they don't, that's okay. But I always try to be like really process oriented with Roundnet things, because man, like what a wild community we have. That's just like who knows what hot takes are going to pop out, on a given basis.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not that I don't appreciate those like high level players like inputs or like appreciation in general. Like it's not that I don't want that. It's just that like when I just noticed a difference when I shifted my focus of like, oh, I'm gonna focus on this small group of players, this small group of people, to like a wide group of people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's like now we have like,
If your
okay,
target audience is bigger, you can attract more. You can
exactly.
attract more. You can be more relatable, attract more eyeballs. Um, the average person when you're playing the lottery on social media that's trying to find your content, the average
Yep.
person isn't randomly like insane around that. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make a ton of sense There's a lot of lovely players that are really good and a lot of lovely players that are not the best. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, trying to appeal to just one type of person or player is limiting. But I think what you probably would also find is those same players that you maybe like thought about impressing, especially like the ones that you play with some really good players in pickups and in your reels. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you're impressing those same players just doing you. So I wonder if that's like come full circle for you if you have like seen that feedback come back around anyway.
Um, I I have gotten some pretty good feedback from
Yeah.
players that I respect for sure. Um, and although it is rewarding, um, again, like I do appreciate it a lot, but it's just like it's not the target. So like I don't get like this whole like, oh, I've made it kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And again, not to downgrade like those players' influences within my Roundnet career, because a lot of the players that I play with at pickup, like I looked up to, like I'm like, dang, like we got Rahul and Fred, the short kings themselves. I'm a short guy too. Like, how could I not like appreciate being in the presence of those two guys? Like, and being short is not like a huge part of my identity. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but it's like, dang, like if they can do it, I can do it. And so it's just like inspiring for sure. And like getting approval from them is awesome. But like, again, like that's not the goal. And I think a lot of players content might actually do a lot better and reach more people if they like kind of shift that. Like, hey, it's cool to get appreciation and recognition from those players, but that's
Yeah. That's a great place to leave it. Well, where can people keep up with you and just all your endeavors?
well, I got my Instagram page. I got my, uh, I'm slacking on TikTok a little bit. I'm gonna try to go on TikTok. That's still Sanders underscore Roundnet. My YouTube is Josiah Sanders 777, where I post my vlogs and some of the reels that I post as well. I'll post on shorts. Um, but on my vlogs, to all that are listening, um, if you want more of like the like in-depth thoughts of what I have, I'm able to express a lot more of what I think on long form videos. And so if it's like the actual like secrets and like nitty gritty, like what should I do? Like go to my vlogs and watch those because those I try to go as in depth as I possibly can, and as brief as I possibly can. And they're not like Sam Sulek vlogs where they're like 45 minutes long. I try to keep them at like 20 at max. It's so hard though, because I would just like
Yeah.
keep that camera rolling and just keep on talking.
It,
But
yeah, it's very hard to pull that off. I'll make sure I get all those links for you so they can be in the description here too. But thanks so much for the thoughtful questions here. I've really appreciated getting to learn a little bit more how you're thinking about content and also hopefully this gets more people out there doing something around it. I know it doesn't have to be content, but Josiah would really like it if it was also content.
I'm just like, post, dude, post, press the post button, like do it, do it, do it, do it. Oh, can I get ask one more question?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. My question is that, man, how do I phrase this? Okay. My question is, do you think that, because do you think that content creators, if someone wants to take run that content creation really seriously, and we had a conversation about this a little bit ago, but for those who don't know, Instagram does not have a creator program. So when posts blow up on Instagram, like blow up, you don't really get compensated for it like you would on a YouTube. For example, I have a post on Instagram where I got 2.5 million views. If that was on YouTube, I would be getting a decent check. And it's frustrating because I'm like, dang, like, it'd be super cool. And it's not the goal again, but like, as a content creator and posting every single day, it is hard to, like, be like, oh, dang, like, growing Roundnet is the goal, but it would be cool to get just a little bit of cash. What do you
Cool.
think about posting on other programs and other platforms as far as like just on Instagram, like most of the Roundnet team?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, first say like I'm definitely not an expert in the creator economy, but um, we both seem to watch at least a little bit of like this. Colin and Samir is a very good like YouTube channel that
Mm-hmm.
follows the creator economy, and just generally speaking, YouTube is kind of started like the platform for like a partner program and getting people paid on AdSense for watching their
Mm-hmm.
long form videos over a decade ago. So they're kind of the gold standard in making sure that creators want to be on the platform, so they get compensated for making the content on the platform. And I don't know how TikTok and Instagram are looking over like the long term, but it sounds like they've kind of had like these like flash in the pans, just like throwing money at these like one-time funds, but long-term funding is not a thing for anybody that's really like outside the top level of like, the 1% of creators. So
Yeah.
I would recommend being on YouTube. I think the very big challenge for us also is Roundnet's so interconnected right now. Like the social platform that is Instagram is really strong. Like I made an Instagram. The first Instagram account I made was Do a Barrel Roll, and that's because the Roundnet community was on Instagram some number of years ago, and I wanted to connect with people. So I totally understand the need for wanting to be there, but I think to your point, and to really anyone's point on growing Roundnet, getting onto other platforms and posting other places is maybe scarier and less social. But we should think about Roundnet not just as a thing that we do socially with our communities that we belong to, which is a really important part of why we're all here and why we enjoy Roundnet, but also think about being like Roundnet ambassadors and getting out into, if it's like Twitter or X or Facebook or like whatever platform you want to learn, I would recommend doing that. And specifically to like the example of, monetization. I mean, it's a high bar to, it's hard to just you can't just get monetized on YouTube, but if you are able to build a platform and work consistently and if you're posting videos every day and you're doing the work you want to do, it'll happen eventually. And then if the pay starts to come again, I think it's not about the money for me, but at the same time, if I can get paid to do what I'm doing, it just means I can do more of it. So that's kind of my mindset around it is like ultimately getting some funds into Roundnet, whether it's for me or for somebody else, just means that it's validating the work, validating the sport in a way that we can then turn around and add more fuel to the fire. So there's a couple directions to go, and again, like no real wrong answers, but I'm on YouTube. That's where I like to be.
I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that, and just so that like this whole conversation in general is for, just so that people can like learn a little bit of like how that all goes down.
Great question. I hope I answered it not too succinctly, but I got answered. And I hope for all you who are hanging out here at the end of this, first of all, I mean, you got to subscribe to the channel. If you're this far in the video, what are you doing not subscribe to the channel?
Yes, you have to subscribe.
Yeah, you gotta check out Josiah's links in the description. It's table stakes. But otherwise, just leave a you don't have to leave a comment, but you can come chat with me on here on the video, the Josiah somewhere else, and just continue the conversation. And I hope it was really valuable for you. I know I enjoyed it, Josiah, and for everyone watching, I hope you all enjoyed it too.
Yeah, I did. I really appreciate it. This was like the first time someone's wanted to have like a conversation with me about it, so I'm really appreciative. Thank you so much.
Oh, dude, I wanted to have so many more of these, so I hope we can have another catch up sometime soon and inspire more of these.
100%.
Sweet. All right, let me stop this recording.